And I just want to welcome everybody today and thank you for joining us for Lunch with Lucy. My name is Kate Remillard. I'm on the marketing team at VHT Studios, and I'll be your co-host today. We have three amazing guests, but before we get started, just need to mention everybody is muted. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask and put those in our Q&A box. We'll get to those as we go and at the end. You'll also want to stick around to the very end because we're going to announce the winners of our 5 DoorDash gift cards. You must be present to win, so don't leave us early. That's all I have. So I'm going to give it over to Lucy Edwards, our hostess with the mostest.
Thank you, Kate. Hello, everybody. I'm Lucy Edwards, Director of Client Success. I really enjoy our talk show, and thank you so much for joining us. And today we have a very important subject to discuss, and we have experts in from VHT Studios and also in staging and design. So we will discuss all the tricks and everything you need to know how to prepare your property for photo session or video or 3D. So I will start with the fact that Brent, who was supposed to be here with us today, unfortunately called last night, and he has some personal issues to take care of, so he will not be joining us, but he is our elite photographer in Chicagoland, and we just love his personality. It's a big, beautiful personality, and he is a great photographer, absolutely amazing. And he actually is the one who invited the stager to our event today. So we will talk to Craig Haas, and Craig is our elite photographer from New Jersey. And he has been with VHT for many, 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 many years. So thank you so much, Craig, for being loyal and wonderful. Leah Gronsman, she has her own company, and she works a lot with VHT photographers and with our clients, and she is owner and stager for Hampton and Wells. And of course, Vince is Vince Calura. He's our Chief Operating Officer. He's been to our event before when we were talking about actually goals and being focused and being well organized. And today, Vince is in his comfortable shoes of talking about photography and the importance of beautiful images and amazing images that bring your listing to another level. So let's begin. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
So I find it funny that our first conversation was about organization, and I've clearly blurred my background, Lucy, so you can't see how disorganized I am today.
Vince, there is no one more organized than you are, so don't even say that.
Yeah, and I do want to state, right, like me filling in for Brent, those are some big shoes. Brent is our top photographer by listings in 2021. He shot 1,390, I think, last year. So you know, he sent in some notes for me, so I feel kind of well prepared. Segment.
Yeah, well, welcome everyone. And I would like to start with you, Vince, and talk about the importance, actually the foundation of a marketing strategy, which is professional photography. And then we will just compare what you do for photo session versus video versus 3D. And obviously Leah is going to be included and involved in every conversation. So shoot away. What's your takeaway to start the day when you look at the schedule and you go to your first photo shoot?
So with any shoot that we get involved with, the hope and sort of intention is that the agent and their homeowner have collaborated, right, to get the listing ready for the photo shoot. And definitely there's a rule of thumb that I hear people use a lot, right? Get it show ready. And show ready is definitely a good start. Show ready and shoot ready might have some variances though, right? Because you definitely want a home to be able to be shown in a way that allows the potential buyer, right, whoever's showing up at the open house, to envision themselves in the property, right? And there's a lot in common with what we look for in terms of shooting the property, right? Now, one of the things, you have to remember, we're creating photography assets or visual media assets of what is there today. And yes, there's the ability to manipulate an image and Photoshop something out, right? But to get the best result, you want to have the home as clean and as decluttered as possible. And I'll say that as a photographer, the more prepared a home is, the more staged a home is, the faster I am at being able to set up and concentrate on the most important aspect, which is composition, right? A lot of the time you tend to hear people talking about angles or, capture the room as quickly and efficiently as possible. What I tell our photographers is thoughtful composition, right? Shoot with purpose. Every photograph that we create must have some sort of intention, right? So it's not, shoot the four corners of a room and move on to the next one. And, frankly, photography gives us a lot of ability and, sort of control to direct the attention of the user, right? It's probably the most controllable media of all. If I'm in this cluttered space, right, which I've chosen to blur out, there's directions I can point my lens, which feature, the built-in bookshelf or desk that I'm sitting at. And there's features there's angles or compositions that could inadvertently feature the pile of camera cases over there. Which one would you use on your listing? Right? So as a photographer, I get to make those decisions and I get to consult with the agent. With, Craig, do you want to weigh in on other visual media, maybe 3D or video?
Ultimately, just going in any image I take, whether it's going to be a still photograph, a video, or 3D. My goal is when a potential homeowner sees the image, they want to buy the house. They want to come and set up an appointment based on that. So once again, the biggest thing with having everything staged and set up is the ability to be creative and to think creatively versus I got to keep moving and cleaning the home. It should be set before we get there.
For sure.
Still pictures, it gives us a little bit more ability to move around. We're not moving. If there's clutter in a corner, it's not moving. We can work around it. With video, we're capturing an image of that room, but it's fluid. We're moving throughout the room, and might not be as easy to keep things out of a corner, but we try our best. We're usually pretty good. And then when we get to the 3D, it's a very fluid process. We're moving through the room, moving the camera from position to position. And as the name implies, it's 3D. It gets everything in every corner. And if that home is not ready, if there's something hidden in the corner that we can hide with a still photograph or a walkthrough video image, with the 3D, it's going to be captured.
So the net of that is, right, like as a photographer, we can point the camera in a specific direction, create a composition, and we have full control. We can hide anything, show anything. When you introduce motion, right, it becomes trickier. You can still do some of it, but it's a little bit harder to walk through a room and ignore the pile of camera cases in the corner. But what you're saying is with 3D, there's no hiding anything.
You
Correct.
get what you see, basically, right?
Right.
Absolutely. What you see is what you get, good, bad, or indifferent.
But I would like to bring Leah into the conversation. Leah and I, we were chatting the other day, and Leah is aware how the photographer really enters the room and the vision the photographer might have, because she's also an artist and she's a talented artist. And we were talking about fireplaces. Like Leah was saying that sometimes in front of the fireplace, the seller would love to put some humongous statues that really covers the beauty of the mantle, right? And you would like to work with the photographer and prepare the property the way that you can feature every detail, especially with the video like you are talking about, Craig. You need the detail, that's the detail. So what's your take on it, Leah?
Yeah, so I tend to walk into homes. I work with some realtors who will have me go in before photos, and they're like, just tell my clients anything that they need to do. So I really walk into like not an empty space, but like with my mind is open of like, what will this photo focus on in this room? Like, what will their eye be drawn towards? And if it's this bright yellow vase in front of the fireplace, that's something that I'm going to tell them to just get rid of, because ultimately you want them to see the fireplace, you want them to see the beauty of the home and like what the home is like, instead of the little knickknacks that are around or the items that just aren't necessary. So I kind of walk through the home with them, and tell them everything like, hey, this is going to show up in photos. This is going to distract the buyer from seeing what the home is really like. And even, you know, you're flipping through photos so fast when a listing comes up, if you can't capture their attention in those 10 seconds of, oh, this looks so cluttered. Like I can't envision myself living here. That's kind of what I want to just get rid of and be like, okay, this home is beautiful and decluttered, and it's again, easy for the photographer to come in.
Well, what do you do, Leah, when they get upset? For you, it's knickknacks. For them, it's a treasure. It's the memory. You know, my child drew that picture 27 years ago and it's framed. How you deal with that?
Yeah, so it is an interesting trick of like reading the person, but also helping them recognize like they want to sell this home, and ultimately this is what's going to help. I start off from the get-go being like, you need to depersonalize the space. It's not against you. It's just simply you want the buyers to envision themselves living there instead of like, oh, who's this cute family that lives here? So usually if you go into it with the perspective of your ultimate goal right now is to sell this home, and I've been in a lot of homes and have seen what have sold, like this is what will help you do it. And usually they're pretty receptive to that.
You know, Lucy and Leah, if I could jump in real quick. Sure. So I did something crazy and went off script, right? Because I do that. And I polled a lot of our photographers kind of asking for tips and tricks. And one of the items that I flagged comes from David Ward of Illinois, right? Of the Chicagoland area, of David Knows hashtag, right? And, you know, he brings up a good way to articulate it, what you're talking about, Leah, which is, you know, advice that he got from an art director when he was a young commercial photographer. And it was quite literally remove all items until the space doesn't tell a visual story anymore, right? And then selectively add items back in that support the story. And that probably resonates really well for you as a stager, right? And for me as a photographer.
Love that.
But, you know, to our homeowners and our agents, it really means empty out the space and build the story from there as best you can, right? And, you know, if there's something in the shot, it really should have a purpose, right? And it's not to say we don't want blank spaces, right? In fact, you know, when I get to shoot a home and it's professionally staged, I'm excited. When I shoot a truly vacant home, it doesn't give me a lot to work with as a photographer. So we still want to tell a story. We just want to decide which story to tell. And in the case I'm going to keep on bringing up, right? The story of this room should be, this is a viable home office, not some messy photographer's like cache of equipment.
You keep coming back to yourself, Vince.
Yeah, well, I'm judging myself right now. Right?
But let me ask Craig something. So Craig, you do very often, and right now in Northeast, videos are very popular. So very often you'll come in and you'll do the photos and then you do the video. Do you rearrange, let's say, flower arrangements or vases or anything like that? Do you restage? One thing I realize you probably need to do is turn all the fans on if there are any, right?
Correct. For video, I'll have fans on, anything in the room that shows movement without me actually having to move, to give a more lifelike sense of presence. Every now and then I might move a vase or something in front of the fireplace. When I'm shooting a regular picture, I want the room bigger, wider, more encompassing. But with video, I do it more artistically sometimes, where I might hide behind that vase, pan the camera off to the left, and now we see an artistic vase, and now panning left, panning right, going up or going down, get a bigger picture of the room more creatively, something that we can't do when shooting the still photograph.
What else would you do for the video? I know that my great idea that I took it back, I'm not doing that anymore, Vince, is to turn all the faucets on, to have bubbles in the bathtub, and to have every single burner in the kitchen. And it's not necessarily bringing any charm to the video. As a matter of fact, sometimes now going back and looking at my suggestions and making a photographer turning every faucet on, I understand it's just distracting. It's not really adding any elegance to the video.
Well, so I feel like you just identified it right there, right? And it connects to the advice we were given from David a few minutes ago, right? It's what does it add? What does it bring the eye to? If, I remember the faucet conversation, right? And my answer is turn all of the faucets on that are a selling feature of the house.
Mhm.
And that kind of takes us back a step, right? And one of the things I try to instill in our photographers is to really speak with our agents. And if we've got the homeowners, and that's a conversation, if we're engaging with them, speak with our homeowners to identify what it is that they fell in love with when they bought the home, right? There's one person in this equation, right? There's us, there's the agent, there's the homeowner. Only one of those people, and I'm not going to point to my middle finger again, only one of those people invested probably their life savings in this home. The agent has a lot on the line, and we as photographers have a lot on the line, and the stager has pride in their work, right? But let's find the story and tell the story, and whenever possible, try to illustrate a lifestyle, right? I talk about that all the time when we're shooting rooms and we're creating vignettes and we're creating detail shots. It's not just shoot the fixture, right? We're not creating a catalog. It's shoot something in a context that allows that buyer to visualize themselves in the space.
And I totally agree with you. And Leah, what about you? I know that photography has been around for years and years, and lately new products are coming to the market. And I'm sure that your sellers are also hiring VHT for 3D tours, for example, or maybe they're doing videos. Do you consider your staging in a different way, that you take into consideration what products are being used? I mean, you probably don't really know that. Unless buyer tells you in advance, I'm going to have a 3D tour done. So I was told to stage it just the way that nothing is moved ever again.
Yeah, I definitely, again, I don't exactly always know, but I really try to keep it cohesive throughout of like what will look good in every scenario. So whether that's positioning items in different places in different ways to just keep it kind of like a clean slate for everyone to come in. And for the property to show as good as possible.
Yeah, I think that is important. And obviously you will never know. Even the seller might not even know what the agent is planning to do for the marketing strategy. So it's hard to know. But now more and more, you will probably be against getting ready for just about any situation. And though your goal is probably to prepare the property for real showings, for someone to walk in and just fall in love with what they see.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Leah, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And this question comes to mind because of one of the photographer's surveys, right? John Porchadu from New York says, hide all the things people don't enjoy about maintaining a home. Dishes, laundry, cleaning supplies, stuff like that. How much, when you're going through the staging process, are you really instructing, your clients to, make the home less lived in, right? It's the daily stuff, the remote controls and stuff like that. And, I'm looking at Craig right now because how many times have we shot a living room and you've got that pile of remotes in a basket with a TV guide? I don't know if people still have those. So how much of it is part of your process when staging that comes up?
Yeah, quite a bit, honestly. A lot of the homes I consult with, they are still living there. So I kind of distinguish it in two different ways as I walk into the home. One is I want the place perfect for photographs for that first impression. I understand that people live in the space, so it's a little bit harder to keep it as photo ready as possible. So I do say, like, if you want to keep a coffee maker on the counter, a buyer isn't going to walk in and be like, oh my goodness, why is there a coffee maker there? They're going to look in closets and see the clothes, that sort of thing. But I'm very specific and keep it as minimal as possible. Go get a storage unit if you need to. Go put things in boxes and closets instead of just like shoving it all in there. Make it look as lived in as little as possible while still being able to, live in it in not a horribly uncomfortable way, because the moment a buyer walks in for a showing, they're not going to be like, oh my goodness, why are these things here? As opposed to the photographs where I'm like, just cut it all out. Like, this is the first impression, that sort of thing. So yes, as minimal as possible, put away the brightly colored branded items. But you still do need to live in the space.
And I would like to come back to 3D. Just a couple months ago, we were at one of the properties here in around Odessa, Florida. And the sellers put all the boxes that they probably ever owned in their lifetime and put them all in one bedroom. When we were doing the 3D, we couldn't really do that room at all because, and even if we were able to do some of it, it just would not look right. So we had to close the door. So I agree with you about the storage unit. It would have been so much better if that room was completely empty, nothing there, but you were able to feature it. Well, thank God we did the floor plan, so we were able to feature the bedroom anyway. But now with 3D, there are new technology that came along actually like what, about a year ago, Craig, and you just shared with us. Unfortunately, we cannot show it to you now on Zoom because it will be very choppy. But now with 3D, you can do the outside as well. So can you talk about the technology for a minute, Craig?
Sure. I don't do outside what we call 360 often, but I'll do it in a spectacular property. I mean, a multi-million-dollar property, the backyard reflection, a multi-million-dollar property. I'll scan the indoors, and then I'll take the camera, set it up outside, take a 360-degree image of the exterior. When it goes back to the studio, we'll show the door that you would go through, the back door to the patio to access this view. You take your mouse, click on that 360, and now you're outside and you can pan the camera 360 degrees from the exterior. And then when you want, click on the mouse back on that same door you went through. And now you're back in the home. So you've got the ability to do 3D tours inside and include exterior.
I think it's great. I actually saw some 3Ds that we have done recently where you show the front and like a little bit of the cul-de-sac of the street to show that beautiful, absolutely stunning lifestyle, not just of your property, but also of your neighbors. So you're moving into the lifestyle, and especially if you cannot do the drone in the area for whatever reason, like the airport in the case, that was so helpful to have the street, to have the scan of the property inside, and then to have the pool and everything else in the back. That was spectacular. So just really loved the technology, and I think it's improving every day. So every day something's coming up. So there is a lot to learn, right, Craig? Every day there is something new.
And we can include that in the email that we'll send you guys tomorrow, so you can see some samples of that.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Yeah, good idea. Thank you, Kate. Thanks.
Yeah, and actually we have a couple of questions here from the audience that are really great questions. One is from Ron Timbrook, and he's asking or saying that his local MLS will allow 99 photos, which he says is way too many, and we agree. And so he's asking what our recommendation is on how many photos to include and which photos, in your opinion, are the most important. I don't know, Vince.
Yeah, that's a huge question, right? And I'm not even going to make the 99 photos and a blank ain't one joke. Look, you can definitely overshoot a home. And in fact, we've seen a lot of pressure in the industry to keep on creating bigger packages. Back in the day, as the MLSs went from 20 to 30 to 35 to 40, right? I tell every agent I talk to the same thing when I get that question. It's identify what's going to sell the home. It's not a matter, you're not in the business to document the space for an appraisal. We can do that for you, right? But these are marketing assets. So when you're photographing a home, you want to create a photograph for every element that's going to create interest, for every place or spot within the home where you think it's going to build your case to sell. If you're shooting, a 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom home, I would ask, is every bathroom, is the powder room that's off of the kitchen a selling feature? Or do we just need to show that it exists by maybe opening the door when we're shooting the hero shot of the kitchen, right? Is the 5th bedroom a selling feature of the house, right? So, Ron, my answer to you is, you as the professional, right, as the marketing director for this home, you're going to tell us what the most important features of the home are. And the right number of photographs is just that. There are some statistics, which maybe Lucy can recite, because I know it came up in a piece that you did, that actually talks about, not only is there point of diminishing returns in, 50 photographs, 60 photographs, but we start to see that listings with too many photographs actually get visited less by buyers, right? Because at that point, when I'm seeing the ugly boiler room, I might be less interested in going to see the home, and I'll go to the other home that has 24 good marketing shots and
Exactly.
no picture of the unsightly boiler room.
I would like to add to it, Vince, if you have, and I have a whole video on that, how many images do you need? And at the end, I'm saying, just few amazing ones. But I took some samples where you have 7 to 10 front of the house. By the time someone gets to the kitchen, there are 27, 30 photos into the virtual tour. They get so sick and tired of your property, they will never get to the second floor. So please make sure that whatever you are presenting, whatever you're introducing, you keep in mind that they have to get to the second floor and see that beautiful master bedroom suite. And that's what's so important. But I know we're coming close to the end.
I want to ask Craig that
Sure.
question, and then I have a follow-up question for Leah. So
Yeah.
Craig, how would you answer that question, right? How many photographs
Once
do I
again,
need?
I'll go back to, we're selling an appointment for someone to see the home. And that's, if I take one picture, I want someone to say, I need to see this home. If you get to the point of too many photographs, I've seen the entire home, there's no reason to be there. An area that this happens often, I'll have, once again, multi-million-dollar property with an unfinished basement. Every now and then, someone will say, I need to see the basement, photograph it. But once again, let's leave mystery. Every picture needs to be connected. An unfinished basement in multi-million-dollar property is a disconnect. Is that really the same property? Leave enough for someone to say, I need to see more, but you need to sell the appointment to see the house. If there's too much there, I don't need to see it. I can keep looking and leave something that they want to see.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I do want to point out, like, Craig, you're a working photographer. You make your income. It's heavily augmented by the number of photos you create. So you're actually saying here, hey, be selective. Don't shoot everything. I'd rather only shoot 28 great photos than 35 photos because of including the utility cabinet and stuff.
Right.
Follow-up question for Leah, right? Leah, as a stager, I bring you into a home. How much of the home are you really having me invest in? Am I investing in every room of the home? Or are you taking a similar approach where you're saying these are the important areas?
Yeah, so typically, I mean, a couple of things. I'm in Chicago, so homes tend to be smaller. So I typically have staged most spaces in the home. When we kind of get more into that 5, 6, 7 bedroom range with all the bathrooms, I would say it's completely logical, especially cost-wise, to kind of think more about, okay, what will sell this home? I actually had this happen just the other day of, okay, what's going to sell this home? What do we want to look beautiful? What do we want to grab the buyer's attention with? And that ended up not being the basement, just because it's a basement. But the space had 4 living areas. So I was like, let's do the 3 on the main, the 2 on the main floor, and then 1 upstairs, and then kind of work without the basement. But yeah.
Lee, we have a question for you. What accessories do you tell homeowners to use for staging their homes? And what accessories photograph well and tell a story in the picture?
Yeah, so especially if someone isn't doing like a partial stage or a full stage, I will tell them, hey guys, go buy a few plants, so real or fake, with like a neutral vase color, and just go stick them around the house, go stick them in corners. They photograph super well. They really just kind of liven it up a little bit, what could be super bland. I love candlesticks right now. I think they're really fun and can kind of be a little funky without being too much. And then probably like just neutral decor items. So whether it's like I'm trying to think, like a gold wire sculpture thing, or that in black. Those are kind of my go-tos at the moment. And then another big thing that I will tell people a lot is neutral art. So a lot of people will have like really crazy colors, it's sentimental to them or something like that. It doesn't photograph well, it doesn't look awesome to the eye. So I'll say, hey, go to wherever, pick something out. It doesn't have to be expensive, but as long as it's kind of in the like blue, green, cream, brown, black realm, that it'll photograph well and look super good.
So I have one more question, and then we're already over time. Do you virtually stage vacant homes? Yes, we do. And VHT Studios, we offer that product, and you are welcome to go to your My VHT and see everything we are offering. So it's absolutely available. There is a difference between real staging and virtual staging, and obviously the budget and the price of the home and many other obstacles can be in your way to get the real staging versus virtual staging. Virtual is much easier, and you don't have to work with your seller. You can work on it yourself, and all of the images are marked that they are virtually staged, so you are not, deceiving anybody. So that is a great product. What's good with real staging very often, and I got it from the conversation, and right now I'm talking 100 miles an hour to cover it. Very often, 90% of the time, the seller will cover the staging. So, and though it might cost sometimes to paint the property, to bring new furniture, and it's not just staging as like decorating with couple vases and another painting on the wall, it can be $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 investment. But you have the statistics, Leah, so can you please share with us?
Yeah, let me pull up a couple here. So they did a survey a couple of years ago, I think 2019, just talking
Who are they?
The Staging Association.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, the Association of Realtors.
Okay.
I think a couple of years ago. They talked to agents and just kind of asked different thoughts on staging. So what I have in front of me, it says that 83% of buyers were more likely to visualize a property as their future home if it was staged, which that blows my mind. Like, that's incredible. And then 38% of buyers were more willing to look at a staged home as opposed to an empty home. 37% of agents said that the staging would positively impact the value if it was decorated to the buyer's taste. And then at least 25% of agents said it increases the home's value by 1 to 5%.
That is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And I know, Vince, I wanted to shoot it back to you right before we wrap up here, because you did have some tips, top 5 tips straight from our VHT photographers.
Sure. So top 5 tips. First one, I'm going to say, I can't even credit who it is because I have it 7 times in the results in 40 minutes. It's have the house ready when I arrive, right? VHT Studios is going to send you a guide for preparing a listing. It's a homeowner's guide. You want to use those. Next one comes from your own Carl in New Jersey, who points out that floor mats, bath mats, kitchen mats, hallway runners, all that stuff, they reduce the size of the space visually. Get rid of them all.
Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the bathrooms, if it's not physically attached, let's get rid of it, right? There's very little in your typical bathroom that brings value to an image, but bathrooms tend to be one of the things that we invest in as homeowners. Bob Gasson from Washington points out pets. Removal of the pets, removal of their toys, right? There's nothing that we have for our pets that isn't clutter. And the final tip, which we have in this document, stager is mentioned 27 times.
Yay! Here we go, Leah.
I know. And FYI, the photographers had no idea that Leah was going to be on this until this morning. But yeah, I've got that from Buddy Mountcastle in Florida, Rick Gardner, Matt Driscoll, Maria Lopez. Those are the most recent. mentioned stagers. And then I'll throw in a bonus for you. Check your lights, folks. The cheapest, easiest thing that you can do to ensure, one, great photographs, and two, a great experience when the potential buyer is visiting the home, is make sure all of your light bulbs work and make sure they match. Light bulbs are cheap, but what isn't cheap is walking in and being distracted by the one hi-hat that's out and the weird yellow one in the corner. So that's what I've got for you. Thanks, Kate.
Only you could think of that one, Vince.
No, that one actually comes from David Ward in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Hey, David. Well, thank you so much, everybody. So, Kate, very quickly, what are the polls results?
Oh my, okay. One moment. So we asked everybody if they use professional photography. The majority, 83%, always does. So good job, people. Are you using 3D tours on your listing? The majority, 55%, said not a fan. So that's an interesting stat. And then we also asked if they use professional staging. 50% said only when it really needs it. And then 30% said that they do it themselves. And then we asked, I guess that's all we got to today.
Cool.
There's a couple we
Thank
didn't
you.
get to. Yeah. And then, hold on. I did want to, I'll get to that at the end. So I want to make sure people can reach you, Leah. Where can people find you if they're interested in your staging services?
Yeah, so right on my website, it's just hamptonandwells.com.
hamptonandwells.com.
Before and afters and a contact button.
And you are welcome to email me, everybody, and I will provide you with all the information you need just in case if you didn't have a chance. And we can put it in our follow-up email.
But I do want to encourage you to join us next month on March 16th with the VP of Proppy. His name is Adam Brown, and he's going to talk to us about cryptocurrency, blockchain, smart contracts, and how it's all impacting real estate right now. It's a super interesting topic. I don't know a lot about it. I'm excited to learn. So look for that invite. It'll come out soon.
I just want to give you heads up. It's going to be course 101. So nothing too fancy, nothing too challenging. We just want for you to be aware and understand how that product is affecting a real estate, and just for you to be prepared. It's not everywhere. It's mostly in the West Coast. It's coming to Florida like no tomorrow. So you just need to be aware. So when your buyers and sellers are talking about it and they have no clue what they're talking about, you are at least you are knowledgeable and you can give them an advice and probably suggest to pay the traditional way through the mortgage. But that's just my opinion. But I want to learn more about cryptocurrency because it's coming our way and we need to be prepared.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And thank you, Craig, and thank you, Vince, and thank you, Leah. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
See you next month.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.